Welcome to Leading Authentically. So this time we're having Pastor Bode Idris. And it's a great privilege to have him because he has been a very good support to me. So it's a great privilege to really have him. Okay, so we're going to start. He will be speaking on authentic leadership as a whole. And we're going to ask him a few questions and then we will begin. Okay, Mr. James, I greet you, sir. So, okay, we're going to send him an invite now and then we'll begin right away. Okay. So, okay. Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir. So, well, we'll begin. Okay, so I'm gonna add Mr. Good.
Hello, sir.
Hey, Miracle. I think
Yes,
we
sir.
are. This is my. Okay, good. You can see me now.
Yeah, I can see. Is it good morning, good afternoon over there?
It's just around 12 noon here, so it's good afternoon.
Okay, so I'm going to say good afternoon, and I think mine is evening.
Yes, good evening there. How is it going?
It's going well. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I would like to address Mr. Idris as Pastor Idris, so that we all know that he's a pastor, not just a leader and a speaker as well. So it's a great feeling. I want to say thank you very much, sir, for accepting my invitation. I'm really grateful. Thank you for everything that people are not seeing now, that people are seeing. Thank you so much.
No
Thank you so
worries.
much.
Thank you for having me, and I like your attire. I should have
Thank
tried
you
to.
so much, sir. My brother's fashion designer, so I'm like his ambassador. So
Nice.
thank you so much. Okay, so the topic is authentic leadership, and would allow him to briefly talk about it, and then we'll go in straight up into the question section, and we're going to be done. So I think this is going to last for 30 minutes for other people to be able to watch it after now. So it's not too long now.
No worries. Thank you for having me. And do
Thank
you
you.
want me to shoot straight or how? What's the process?
Yes, yes, please. We can start now.
All right. Thank you for having me, Miracle. I'm happy to be here. My name is Body Dreams. What's it called? I'm a clergy. I'm a consultant. I run a small consulting outfit, but with different clients within Canada, in different parts of Canada. And yeah, you've given me an interesting topic called authentic leadership. And it's quite interesting in the sense that we're not just looking at leadership, but what makes leadership authentic. In other words, what makes it real, what makes it genuine, what makes it relatable. And I will start by saying it this way. Many times, what people are looking for is consistency in actions, consistency in behaviors from leadership. Meaning, I don't want to deal with somebody who does something this way at work, and versus we don't see a different part of the person. So, some people see leadership as acting. I think Forbes had actually spoken about authentic leadership. They spoke about their four pillars of authentic leadership as well. And I think probably another organization called HubSpot. I will quote them a bit. One of them spoke about four pillars of authentic leadership, and I will quickly read it. The first is being genuine. The second is a level of what is called self-awareness, the level of transparency, and strong moral code. I added my own pieces to it just so that we can get into some more things as we go ahead with this. So basically, an authentic leader would inspire loyalty
Hmm.
and trust because of consistency. So an authentic leader demonstrates what I call empathy. So an authentic leader does not see, I think I think there is this what I call lie or what I call thought or mindset that being a leader means number one, I'm above mistakes. Let me share a story with you. So when I was in Nigeria, I used to think that my pastor was a god. So I used to think that my pastor cannot make a mistake. I don't even think my pastor goes to worship. So yes, so you're getting where some of these things are coming from. So, but growing up, I've lived abroad now for nearly 20 years, and
Wow.
yes, I've lived in Canada for 19 years, going to 20, and I've found that there is we need to get rid of that mindset. You understand? The best of us is still human. And I'm going to say it,
Mm.
the best of man is still a man. So,
Mm.
um, because this is a neutral platform, I will just I'm a man of faith. So I will relate to a part in the Bible that talks about how even Jesus himself is a high priest that is not alienated from the types of feelings that we feel. That I believe that is one of the reasons why he came in the flesh. So, there was a time he cried, showing that he could mourn, he had emotions, you understand. And so these are some of the things that when we're talking about authentic leadership, what it is and what we should demonstrate, the humanity, the empathy part of it. So let's talk about genuineness. Being genuine should come from the heart. Being genuine should come from the heart. I can be real without being fake or being perceived as super. I think some years ago, this must be about 12, 13 years ago. I read an article where a world-renowned leadership expert, I think John Maxwell, um, he was traveling and he forgot to declare that somebody had gifted him a gun, because in that part of the US, you can give that as a gift. So he forgot to declare that. And lo and behold, by the time he got to the security check, they flagged him and they said he was carrying a weapon. You understand? Now, that can happen to anybody. He's just being human. That's his human part. You understand? So, because what happens is when we begin to not be genuine and we look at that as also being become superficial and begin to see us as superhuman, we are creating what I call an unmanageable expectation of such a leader when such a leader makes a mistake and fails. You understand what I mean? So, I've been pastoring for about 8, 9 years. And one day I spoke to our congregation and I said to them, don't expect from me a leader that does not make a mistake. Don't expect from me somebody that wouldn't, I am me, you understand? So don't try to have an expectation of perfection from me. So genuineness. Self-awareness for an authentic leader. When you talk about self-awareness, it means you're conscious of your limitations, you're conscious of your knowledge. I saw the video you posted about that lady that was debilitating, and yeah, I laughed. And I laughed. And so when you talk about self-awareness, you're conscious of your knowledge, you're conscious of your motives, your characters, you're conscious of your strengths, you're conscious of your weakness. Meaning that I even admit I can be wrong. You understand? In Hooke's law in physics, we talk about Hooke's law of elasticity. And Hooke's law of elasticity talks about, what is called the elastic limit. And when you get to the yield point, I mean, this is my limit. If I go beyond this, I'm going to break. You understand? So again, so that is what we call self-awareness, there was a time that a leader in the Bible said something. He asked his followers, they said, who do people say that I am? That is called self-awareness, self-assessment. Who am I? What's the perception of me? You understand? So you're doing a continual self-assessment, a self-appraisal of who you are, where you are, and you're able to say, I can take this on, I cannot take this on. But part of self-awareness is also your mental health check. You understand? Like, maybe, I mean, I'm not home right now, I'm away. You know, I'm in a hotel, and yeah, my self-awareness. I want to just go and chill. I want to be well rested. I've stressed myself. Now it's time for me to chill. So that is the second piece of authentic leadership. The third piece of authentic leadership is what I call transparency, which is letting people know where you're saying things as they are. You see, people would rather have you be fake. They would rather have you be fake. You know, let me talk about it from two perspectives. Being what I call a what you call now, a bivocational pastor, a multi-vocational individual, a multi-vocational individual. The authenticity part of that means that I don't want you to have certain expectations. And I don't want to create certain impressions. So there's certain expectations of you cannot relate with me, or I cannot say some things. So let me give you a few examples. If an error or something happens on certain platforms, it's an expectation that I should be able to talk about them freely. Because I'm sent to the world, I'm sent to talk about things that are happening in the community. Oh, but this one you're not supposed to talk about it. Hey, I'm going to talk about it. I think one of them is about abuse right now, that probably because it happened and the person it happened to right now, everybody's talking about. But we've been talking about that for years. For years. And I remember I would tell them in the church, you know, if I hear you abuse somebody, I'll be the person to call the cops. Simple as ABC. Because it falls against my fault. Transparency. You understand what I mean? Transparency. So let's talk about the fourth one. The fourth pillar of authenticity is what I call the strong moral code, or what I call integrity. I will quote General Norman Schwarzkopf. So General Norman Schwarzkopf said, leadership is a potent combination of character and strategy. Again, leadership is a potent combination of character and strategy. But if you must be without one, be without strategy. So if you have a choice between character and strategy, and say which one can you do without, you understand? You can let go of strategy. But that your character means consistency. I don't change because of pressure. Are you getting it? I don't change because of pressure. That's what character is. You know, character is, you know, skills can be learned. I always tell people that anybody can acquire any skill at any point of their life. But the thing about character is you have to consciously work on it. It's either there or not there. That is why you see a lot of talented people suffer or struggle. Yeah, they're not supposed to struggle because they are trying to compensate for their shortage of character with what? With skills. And it doesn't work. You see, skills will get you through a door. So skills, I can hire you based on your skills. But you know what? I will promote you not based on your skills, but you know that for those that are hired by organizations, now I'm self-employed, I own a business. So you do what is called performance appraisal. And in those performance appraisal, people are expected to talk about you. Let me tell you a story. Many years ago, I think about 10 years ago, I was consulting for an organization, and I needed to hire an individual. So we hired this person. The person holds a doctorate, and I hired him for one of my clients. So I think a week after he resumed, he got into, you know how you just walk in a common area at the workplace. So this common area at the workplace, the CIO of the organization was there. Everybody was there. Even those that are above my levels were there. And you know what this guy did? Next, this guy did. He did not say hello to anybody. He just walked straight to the boss and he went to check. So I wasn't there. So it was only the feedback. So my team, those who were working with me, now gave me this feedback, and they said, well, but you know that guy that we hired, we think he's cocky. And I said, what happened? They said this was what he did. He did not greet the line managers. He did not say hello to the directors. He went straight to try and prove something. Victor Oladipo said it this way, that kingmakers are not necessarily kings. So you need to be careful how you treat
Mm.
people. Kingmakers are not necessarily kings. You understand? So character. My friend told me a story and said it this way, and said that he said it this way, that you need to be careful when you're going out and it's raining. You see, those people that give you a cover or an umbrella for when it's raining, you understand what I mean? Watch the way you treat them, because of what? In case it rains again, so you can find
Mm.
a place of shelter. So character is big for a leader. You could have worked all your years, do you understand me, to make a name, to do everything, and one simple mistake can bring you down, can bring you down. And there are some, what I call the lies of leadership, which are called the pitfalls. Is that the embarrassments that some people get because they get into a position of power, or because, yeah, just because they touch power. I call it the three
Mm.
lies. I call it the three lies that a leader believes in. The first is, oh, I get all these. You understand what I mean? I get all these. This is all I have access to. So wow. The next is, I can do all these. Nobody can check me. And then the third is that what I can use force. I can make people do as I wish. Now, those are lies of leadership, because you need to understand that it's very easy for you to fall. So when we lead as authentic leaders, because I'm also conscious of time, when we lead as authentic leaders, one of the things it shows in us is, number one, people are able to empathize with us when we fall. Um,
Mm.
I work with a lot of leaders, both political and governmental, and some of them very heavy. And when I say very heavy, very, very, very wealthy financially. And I remember sitting down with one, and the guy was telling me what he was going through. And I started taking it as a ministry. This was several years ago, and I said to myself, you know what? Who do you get to pour your heart to as a leader?
Mm.
So when
Mm.
people see genuineness in your leadership, they're able to empathize with you. You understand? You don't hide your failures from them as well. You let them know about your struggles. I think the second thing also that does for us also is it breeds trust and integrity. So you can be trusted. You can be trusted. And I think the third thing I would say that it helps with is that it helps with relatability. So meaning I can relate to you. Back to that story about that I told you about. I never thought that my pastor even could use the washroom, right? So back to that story. So I went to a conference more than 10 years ago. It was a church-related conference, a leadership conference, and I saw that all these big people that in those days I couldn't access. Guess what? Everybody was sitting on the same platform. In fact, that's one of the reasons why in our church I don't have a separate chair.
Wow.
Yes, everybody, you understand. It's for relatability. You understand,
Mm.
for relatability. So yeah, I think. I think I can. Let me stop there and see if you have questions for me.
Okay, yeah, but I have a lot. Okay, I don't have so much, but I have questions. And thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm really, really grateful. I remember the first time I get to speak to you. So I saw a sermon, and then it sort of spoke to me. I said, "Oh no, God, thank you very much. This man, I'm going to have to look for him." So I went online looking for how to get in touch with you, and I got in touch with a PA, and then he said, "Okay, you have to wait." And I hold on. I'm like, "Okay, thank God, I get to speak to you." And then that day, I was really relieved, like really, really relieved. I want to say thank you so much. So the question I want to ask is this: while you were talking, this question just popped up, just came up to my mind, and I think that's what we're really facing globally and even in Africa right now, even in Nigeria specifically. How do we define loyalty? Like, how do we define loyalty? For example, I am loyal to you, and then I'm doing what is right, which I believe is right. And
Right,
every suddenly, somehow you're doing something that doesn't start well with what I count as right.
right.
And you count it as being disloyal. How do we then define loyalty in such situation?
In fact, I've been looking for an opportunity to address that and to talk about that. Maybe it's going to be your platform. I'm going to just say that. Now, there's a difference between loyalty to a person and loyalty to virtues. Now,
Hmm.
so I can be loyal to a person, but it doesn't rob me of my ability to see when things are wrong.
Hmm.
So let's take a case in point. Let's look at our nation, Nigeria. It is not. So let's look at our nation, Nigeria, as an example, or even other parts of the world. So if a leader does something wrong, and you know the leader was wrong, and the leader was too proud to admit he was wrong, and you think you are being loyal by support, what you're actually doing is you are aiding and abating evil. Because you know what? Probably because of that leader's indiscretion, you are denying some people justice.
Hmm.
So loyalty does not mean that, or let me say, disloyalty is not that when you're wrong, I push you, to the point of destruction, which I believe some people are doing, which actually be saying, sir, I may not call you out in the public. We could call you in secret and say, sir, this thing is not clear to me. Can we talk more about it? Well, this is my stance about this. You
Hmm.
understand? So it's not loyalty when we know people are wrong and we keep enforcing their wrong, or we are encouraging them to stay on that wrong path. No, that is not loyalty. If you're loyal,
Hmm.
the person you're going to be loyal to is what? To God. You're going to be loyal to, of course, whoever is to virtues, love, virtues. Those are things that should guard loyalty, virtue.
Wow. Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. Okay. So this other question, I think for me, it's confusing, but I think I need to ask this. So it's how do we balance what a leader expects of us? What a leader expects us to expect of the leader, and what are we not to expect of a leader? I don't know if I read that well. I should read it again.
Yeah, I think so. If
Okay.
if I hear you well, what you're saying is how do you balance the expectation of a follower from me and my and what I think he or she should expect of me.
Exactly. Yes. Good.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I think the first is communication. The first is
Hmm.
communication. Let me share a funny story with you. My pastor many years ago said this, and it was kind of funny, but it's real. And he said, "Look, uh, XYZ days you can call me." So I was telling the workers, I mean the church members, don't call me on Monday unless it's really serious. You call me on Monday, no matter what's happening, I'm not going to pick it because I want to rest. He's setting expectations.
Hmm.
You understand me? He's trying to draw boundaries because some people actually don't understand boundaries. You understand? So the first is what the communication. Be willing to say no. It's as simple as ABC. No is a complete statement. So, which is, well, oh, I expect. I give you, in my world as a pastor, I see so many things. I see people make some demands of me that are just ridiculous. I'm like, really? You understand? And I tell my wife this, and is that I don't hide my WhatsApp status. If you send me a message and I read it, you'll see it already.
Hmm.
It's checked. If I don't have a response for you at that time, I don't have that response at that time. You understand? When my head is cool and I can reply, I will. I don't have to hide it.
Hmm. Hmm.
So it's expectations set that communication, the standard, establish it. You understand? I think it's going to help. Number two also is letting people know you're human and you have your limits. I'm human. I have my limits. I have times when I take my break. You understand?
Hmm.
It's as simple as that. But
Wow. Thank
communication, set the boundaries here.
Wow. Thank you so much, sir. Okay. I think the last question, but not the yeah, yeah, the last question, not too last. Yeah. The last question is now, Pastor Bodi, I know that you're a pastor, so, and I'm also Christian as well, and we have different sort of people watching this. So, but I think it's a religion. If we have to classify it globally, Christianity is still a religion. Now, how do we balance between humanity and spirituality, which I feel that has caused a big setback especially for religious people in such a time as this, especially when
Right.
so many things happen. So how do we balance humanity and spirituality, or should there be a balance?
Yeah, there has to be a balance because everything you take to the extremes, what's going to happen is what it's going to turn to a lie. If you take spirituality to an extreme, guess what? It becomes a lie. It becomes there's a particular word used in the Bible. I'm trying to remember what it is now. So there has to be a balance. Number one, to practice your spirituality, you have to be human,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? Right? Yeah, you have to be. You have to be. And you need to understand that people are at different levels in their lives. People are at different levels of faith. So let's look at it as a community, as an example. I'm a man of faith, but I go to certain institutions, certain organizations where there may not be people of my faith. I wouldn't have the expectation that, you should understand, I wouldn't have the expectation of them wanting to do things my way. No, I first have to relate to them as humans, right?
Hmm.
To the Gentile, I became as a Gentile. That's what Paul said, right?
Hmm.
So yeah, so usually I will probably wear my suit of this. I said, oh well, this young folks will probably be here. I'll come in my hoodie. I'll wear my hoodie. It's as simple as that. You understand? So now the second part of it as well also is that people are at different levels of understanding as well when it gets to spirituality. Spirituality does not mean that we abandon our sense, our brains. So
Hmm.
no, it's not. So because what we've seen happen in different parts of the world, but many people have died because of that, is we spiritualize everything and don't apply common sense to some of those things. If I say to myself that many people will die, and when they get to heaven, God will ask them, "What are you doing here?" Because they never used their wisdom. You know,
Hmm.
I will leave you with this word in the book of Proverbs that says that he that departs from the path of understanding will find himself in the midst of the dead.
Hmm.
You understand? That is, if you refuse to apply wisdom, if you refuse to apply common sense, you'll find yourself where? In the midst of the dead. So yeah, you must balance it. People, there are many religions in the world, and we all have never been able to agree to one. But you need to treat people with honor. You need to treat people with respect. And yeah, so you have to balance it. You have to balance it.
Wow. Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm very grateful for this section. Very, very good for having you. And I think you're the best person for this topic. Thanks so much for doing justice to it.
No,
So
very
the
good.
last
Thank you for
question,
having me. Go ahead.
the last question before we will let you go. We ask all speakers in few words, what advice would you give to young people, especially in Africa and West Africa and globally as a whole?
Yeah, the advice I will give to young people is watch your character. Yeah, watch your character. Um, you see, growing up, I never worked with people that were my age mates. I worked with people that were older than myself. I was able to leverage their experience. They opened a lot of doors for me because I listened to them. I had a lot of people train me and teach me. I had some early breakthroughs in my life because I had those guidance. I had those people to guide me. Now, what we need to understand as young people is what we are doing now is creating a future for
Hmm.
ourselves. So you will have the opportunities. So Satan will give you those opportunities to mess up. You understand? It's going to give you that opportunity to become rude. It's going to give you the opportunity to act in anger and different things. If there is anything you should guard at this point of your life, it's your character. I mean, your character. Be a person of integrity. Watch your character. You know, I said it earlier. And let me quote John Maxwell in one of his books that says talent alone is not enough. And what he said in that story was that there was a man, an old man, and a grandpa who was known to be a grumpy old man and very wicked. So This man, his grandchildren, his two grandsons came to spend time with him, and they were very afraid of him. So when this man was sleeping, these two mischievous boys decided they were going to do something to him. So they got some what we call blue cheese, a stinking, smelly cheese, and they rubbed it on his mustache while this man was sleeping. So when the man woke up, the man said, "Well, something is smelling bad." So he opened the fridge and he smelled well, and he thought it was the fridge. So he took out everything in the fridge and he junked it. You understand? Then he smelled some places in the storage. He took everything out. Then when he found out what the odor, the stench did not stop. Guess what he did? He went outside and he said, in short, the whole world stinks. So what happens with character is that we look at other places except for ourselves. You understand? So, and that's what happens to many people. What is limiting you many times is not money, it is not lack of skills. Many times it is what? Character. So that is the word.
Wow. Thank you so much, Pastor. I'm very, very grateful. Thank you so much. I think we have about 4 people on live, and I wanted to say thank you before we excuse you. So please, if you're online, just say thank you to Pastor Bode as we excuse him. Thank you so much. I'm very, very grateful for this opportunity to have you. Thank you so much.
No worries. Thank you so much, Miracle, and thank you for everybody that joined. Happy Easter to everybody.
Same here. Okay, thank you. I think we'll have one. Thank you. Thank you so much, Pastor Bode. So we'll let
All
you
right,
go
I'll
right now.
take my leave now. Bye bye.
Okay, bye.